everyone. Welcome back to this week's tarot reading. Thank you for coming. And this week, I thought I would use the Mythic Tarot deck. This is a tarot deck based around Greek mythology. So I've been shuffling the deck. Let me just connect and we'll see what the tarot has to say this week. Okay, I'm going to cut the deck. And we'll take the top three cards. Our first card will look at the present moment, what's happening now in our field. Our second card will look at the past influence that brought us here. And our third card will look to a future potential. So our first card here is the Queen of Swords. Now remember, the swords is the air element, so this is about thinking. Now here we have the Queen as the goddess Atalanta. Now, the goddess Atalanta was born as a disappointment to her father. He was so disappointed that she was his daughter and not his son that he banished her into the forest. Luckily, she was raised by the forest people. And in order to try and gain respect from her father, because she always wanted the love of her father, she became extremely able at sword work, running, climbing. Essentially, she became very well-bodied, able-bodied, physically fit, and quite an opponent in any match. She could outrun people, she could out-sword fight. So eventually, over time, as she became a young woman, Atalanta did get the respect of her father. And she did get his love. But the turmoil of that caused a lot of her emotion to be poured out onto the floor. In a sense, she really had to become more masculine to get his approval. And that's really what this card is depicting. It's depicting a very clear sight in mind about what it is that we want to achieve. You see the sword pointing straight up. There's the clarity. It's very clear. And the emotional part of it, there's a sternness here. There's a sternness in the resolve of that mental thinking. So there is a slight negative to this card, but ultimately the Queen of Swords is saying that we are clear thinking. So is that what's going on right now? We've had an idea, or we understand something really clear in this moment. So let's see what brought us there. Okay, well, we got here from the Nine of Swords, and that kind of makes sense. This is a dark card, and it's still the sword, so it's still about thinking. But here we have Ocetes, I think that's his name, who ultimately killed his mother. That was just his fate. He killed his mother, and he felt really bad about it. And karma caught up, and Hecate sent the three fates to poke swords at him. So he's covering his ears here because he's tired of listening to his own mind, the anxiousness, the sadness, the guilt of killing his mother. So in the past, our recent past, have we been feeling anxious? Have we been overthinking something? Have we been kept awake, feeling that we're being prodded and poked by trying to make a decision or a thought that just keeps going around in our head? That was the past, but we've come to a clarity of thought. Now, remember, the Queen of Swords may not be us, essentially. It could be someone in our field, a more mature, wiser woman with that clear idea in her thinking. Maybe she or the energy of this particular card within us brought us to a clear, no-nonsense approach. We let go of all of the anxiety. Let's see where it's going. Well, it's going to a major arcana. So we will definitely pay attention to this message, clear thinking, and we will move into the sun. Now here the sun is depicted by Apollo, who stands at the Oracle of Delphi. So Apollo, as a child, he was nursed on ambrosia and nectar, and so he became a very virile young man, and he went off into the mountains to seek his sanctuary. Unfortunately, whilst in the mountains, he came across a huge python. that threatened to basically kick him out. Now, he wrestled with the python for a while, but ultimately, because he had his bow and arrow, he managed to slay the python. And in honor of the python, he built the Temple of Delphi and he became the oracle. But because the sun is bright and shiny and joyous and doesn't like the dark, every winter Apollo would go away and he would leave in his stead, he would leave in charge of the Oracle of Delphi, the goddess Pythoness, in respect to the python that had brought him to where he was. So back to our reading, we have been having some anxiety, some thinking, overthinking. We've not been feeling great about something, but we found a clarity of thought. We really found that vision. We know where we're going. And we're moving into the sun. We're moving into the sun and all looks well. And if we want to also consider the Oracle of Delphi, it's another indication to rely on intuition, don't overthink, and here we are, a joyous moment. Let me know how that works out for you. Bye now.